Dear God and great Creator, and all angels and archangels, and all of our highest selves and our highest guides, and all the elementals that are present today here in this area, we're asking you to be with us today, to be with this group of people and show up in our energy fields. And we're asking you to send the messages that you have for us and the healings that you can offer for us today for the highest and best good of all. And I'm asking you to assist me to be as open and clear channel as I could be today. I see lots of elementals who are coming to the room, and they're pretty shy. They are checking the energies of the people and animals. They bring in this bright light that illuminates the room and clearing the space from the doubts, from the negative thoughts. And they bring in the energy of rainbow, bright, sparkly energy of rainbow, of every color that's in existence on earth. They bringing it in, and for everybody who is open, they bring it inside of our energetic fields, into our hearts. They said that the human being need to open their heart more to the magic and to the magical beings and creatures that are in existence and who are here to help and assist us in co-create and lots of those elementals. Some of people who are here, they're guides for them, so they come in here to really show up as a guides for some of you, so you can hear them and see them and be aware of them, that they're here to support you and guide you through life. And now we are invited to go underneath of the earth to see a dragon. And that beautiful, powerful animal that lives underneath of the earth. He's big, and he has this massive presence. And he is almost asleep, he is dreaming, he is also in this meditative state. And through his skin, through his wings, he sends the energy, the healing energy of the dragons. And everyone who is open can receive this healing essence of the dragons that makes you stronger as a person, that makes you more powerful. It's a dragon's gift And dragons do want human beings to be powerful beings with the golden hearts, with a golden mind that is aligned with the heart. The dragons also say that we do need to be grounded. And for grounding, we always can ask this particular dragon that lives beneath the earth to ground us deep, to ground our beings deep into the earth, so we would be more present and strong in our presence on earth. The dragon also brings the gifts of gold. The gold represents abundance of the heart, the fire that within ourselves that creates abundance and attracts abundance. And he says with that co-creating with dragons, we can create abundance not only for ourselves, but for the whole universe. Dragons are universal beings. They exist in different places in the universe. And the dragon allows, if anybody wants to touch him, you can touch him and feel how real he is and how smart he is, how intelligent he is. There are much ancient wisdom about everything in this world. And the dragons are here to help us to get in touch and use this ancient wisdom when we work together. Dragons are our protectors. They're protecting us and they're protecting the environment. They're protecting the resources of the earth. They said the resources of the earth need to be used wisely. And there are ways to use it wisely. And if anybody called to discover how to do that, they say that you could work with them to discover how to use it wisely in the different ways. There are spirits of salamanders, the spirits of the fire also coming, and they're creating the sacred fire around us to burn everything that we don't need anymore, burn all the residue that we carry with us from our past experiences, our past lives. And they're inviting us to go through the fire, through the circle of the fire, to get clean and to be ready for rebirth. And rebirth can be every day, every time when we wake up, we can go through this rebirthing process. To be this new and clean and clear from all our past experiences and be open to new possibilities, new life of every day. And they also bring the fire into our heart to clear our heart and burn everything that we hold in our hearts that's heavy. And it does not serve the highest good. It does not help us to be who we are. It does not help us to really shine the light that we have within ourselves. They give us blessings of the fire into our hearts. They help us to open this jewel in our hearts that would shine, and that we can really sense it for ourselves, to feel that we do have this jewel in our heart, that it is real. The sacred fire also goes into our third chakra to open our intuition, to open our vision for life, so that we have this higher vision for ourselves, higher vision for what we can contribute to and what our life can serve. So we don't get stuck in a small space and being small, but being open to all the bigger possibilities, what we can be part of. And it also opens our crown chakra to be connected to the whole universe and the God and the Creator, to be in alignment with what we're here to be. And there is the information that comes and gets downloaded into us through the crown chakra that we need at this moment, about who we are and what we are here to be, and about life, our life. And it gets into our cells and gets grounded into the earth. So be it. Amen. And whenever you're ready, you can carefully open your eyes.
That was a beautiful journey. Wow.
Now we will talk about how to communicate with fairies. So fairies like nature, so they mostly live in very natural places, forests and the gardens are not really completely groomed, but they're very natural. So of course you can really go out into those places and introduce yourself. First you just out loud or in your thoughts you introduce yourself, and you open your energetic field so the fairies can really read you, who you are. And because the angels of nature, they really care about nature, so they would be very interested about how you treat the nature, how you treat animals. And if they have some doubts, they actually might ask you to do some task, like to go and pick up some garbage somewhere in the forest, or starting to recycle, or you're gonna start thinking about that you need to use more organic food in your house, or even the more cleaner cleaning supplies at home. So some people can see fairies physically, but you have to be really open for that to really see that. But mostly you can sense them by their energy when you walk through places, and you just feel this playful, very happy energy. And that is usually what where the fairies hang out. Yes?
I was in Sedona this year, Arizona, and the highest vortex in the country, I forgot what it was called, and we went on a ferry walk. And everybody took pictures except me. Why would I bring my camera to ferry walk? And there were more, I saw over 10 pictures of fairies, which are like points of light.
Oh,
And this
yes.
talk about opening, this one girl, and you could sense it when I would have breakfast with her, the light that would go all the way around her
Oh,
head,
wow.
all around her face, and you're just like, just, I mean, it was there, it was crazy. Oh, and I came home, my family asked me what I'd been smoking. So, it was the best. And I started a fairy garden in my garden.
Oh.
Yes.
If you
Of
come
course.
and if you come to my house, you'll see my fairy garden. And it's all those elements too,
Yeah.
to create a fairy garden.
Yeah,
Because
that
they tell us to do that too.
yeah. So yes, and so when you take the pictures, you first ask them to show up, like please show up in my pictures. And you go take the pictures and you might not see them with your eye, but then you can see all these lights of different colors in the on the picture, and that is usually fairies. And sometimes people do get the pictures where you can actually see kind of like legs or wings or something, the whole body of the fairy on the picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I will bring at another time a picture of my husband, Charles Crowman soulmate, who passed 8 years ago this month. And we're in the garden, and right by the fountain, and right there are like some blocks of light. And those are the fairies. We were just starting our journey together, and it started right there with the picture in the garden and a video in the garden that a friend took of me on my 40th birthday. And I invited him to my garden party, and that I had, and the rest is history. We were together 23 years, so the fairies took hold.
Yeah.
So what are the different fairies? There are different kinds, right?
Yeah, there are different kinds of fairies. So there are flower fairies that usually are very tiny, and they're like solo fairies. So they live separately in every different flower. And there are fairies that live in groups. So they have those small villages, and they live somewhere in the forest in particular places, and they tend to stay together. There are tree fairies also. They're like tall, a really tall being actually, and
How tall could they
they
be?
can be pretty tall. Um, yes, and there are of course like all other elementals like gnomes and elves and brownies that live mostly underneath of earth, and they come out and help with nature and keep the nature clean and balanced. And what actually fairies say that they want people know about them more, because then they have when people aware that they're in existence, and then they don't fairies don't have to be invisible all the time, and that gives them more opportunity and possibility to really protect the nature even more. um, so they do want people know about them and try to connect with them and be comfortable with their presence on earth. Like dragons, when I was trying to channel dragons, and what I realized, so there are lots of myths about dragons, right? And in Western Europe, there are lots of legends where there's mean beings, and there were like dragon slayers, and families had to give up their firstborn daughter as a sacrifice to dragons. And on East culture, there's were benevolent dragons when were really protectors. And when I was tuning into that, so what I got, they're really powerful animals. And when they were existing on Earth, what they wanted, and still they wanted, that people would have the respect for this power, because people were killing them because of out the fear, because of this really big and powerful being. So they have been killed eventually. So, but they want human beings realize that power that they were representing on earth, and being very respectful of that, because you cannot have what you don't respect. You cannot express what you don't respect. So if you want to be the powerful being on earth, you have to respect the representation of this power. Um, yes, so what else I wanted to say? Lots of things.
Oh, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
How do dragons show up? I mean, did they show up like the fairies can, like little lights? But how do dragons show up for people?
No, I don't think so. I think it's mostly you communicate with them through channeling, just telepathically, yes. And yeah,
Oh, the one girl that I mentioned had lights all over. They were actually different colors,
yeah,
blue and pink
Yeah.
and yellow. So
Right.
that's another dimension of color.
Right.
coming.
yes, yes. So they are so the fairies live in etheric world, and they most of the time have to be invisible for us, but they can become visible if they wanted to. And the story of the fairies that actually goes from, of course, from Ireland, when they were those people of goddess Dana, who was supposed to be the goddess, the creator, goddess creator, and she represents this feminine power, how to be feminine and at the same time to be powerful being. So there were those beings living in Ireland that were called people of Dana, and when they got the other people came into that place, the one that lives there now, those magical people had to leave the place, and they were hiding in the mountains, and they kind of shifted, they did the shape shift, and they became invisible, and they would come out only at night with the moonlight. And the story is that perhaps those magical people who lived there first, they were either they came from Atlantis, or they were some say they were just fallen angels. But that's where the story of fairies became, that after they shape shifted into some other beings and lived in the magical mountains, they became fairies. And from that point, there were also stories that fairies can be mean and mischievous, because fairies were not very nice to people who took their land. And that's where all the stories got created. Also, the stories that fairies are kind of little evil creatures came from all the religion, because fairies are fun and they like party, they like drinking, and the man fairies, they like women. So it's, and for them it's all about enjoying life, really enjoying life and being present. And they teach us here also to laugh more and not being so serious and have fun and enjoy life on earth, because they still live on earth.
Yeah, it
Yes.
reminds me of Shakespeare knew fairies really well from his play Midsummer's Night.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
When I was in Ireland, there was a fairy tree, and there was a big up-to-do about it because they were gonna put the freeway in and take the fairy tree away. And the people were really upset, so they all got money so that the freeway goes right around the tree. The tree's still there. And then we also saw a couple of residents that had like your fairy garden in their back, and the space for them to be able to feel safe to come there.
Yeah. And also there are fairies and elementals who came to earth as human beings. So some of us actually have been in this room before. And and came back to serve in a bigger way as a human being, but we still have some memories of that and unconscious desire to protect the nature. And so it's somehow the elementals who are in the human bodies, their life purpose connects to nature somehow, one way or another. And also people who are elementals, they are very artistic and they're good comedians. Yeah, and somehow they relate to nature really well. So there's like, if the person were a flower fairy before, they're usually very petite and very pretty. And the tree fairies are usually really tall people, thin and tall people. There are also unicorn people. There are, what
The
else?
dragon people?
And yeah, there are dragon people. I met dragon people too in a human body. And usually yeah,
How?
so and there is even this goddess Anya, um, Anya, and she is like fairy queen, because fairies have actually kings and queens. So this is one of the queens who are the goddess for the elemental people on earth. She supports them here, and so if you're one of the elementals, you can connect to her and ask for your life purpose guidance while you're here.
I have a question on that.
Mhm.
It has to do with the recent fires and the recent, destruction of a lot of, land, earth. And is that part of the fairies' purpose to help rebuild? Is there talk around the fairy circles or around about that?
I think that the probably people who are elementals, they would be drawn to do things like that,
Oh, okay.
to replant and yeah, clean everything, the environment.
So has a lot of fairy land been destroyed by the fires? Have you, is that?
I think they know when it happens, so they probably leave,
Before that
and
happened?
yeah, before that happens, and then I think they also want people to step up and work with them, starting to be more aware of what's going on in nature.
No, sometimes I've heard sometimes they only like to live in old growth forests, but that's not really true.
No, not
They'll
really
live in
true.
gardens. Communities will live in people's gardens. And
Yeah,
things
they
like
can
that.
live in gardens, and also every animal has its own fairy, because it's like a guardian angels for animals. So if you have a dog, a cat, or some animals at home, there are fairies around them. So it's easy to communicate if you have an animal. So you have plants at home. They can live around plants in the house, and you can always invite them into your house to ask them to live there and maybe help you to take care of the house. And you can leave like candies for them, some milk and honey, because they like sweet stuff. They're not on a diet. Okay, yes, so the first.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever been to Muir Woods?
No.
Okay, Muir Woods has a fairy queen.
Oh,
She
okay.
protects the realm, and you actually have to be invited in.
Oh, wow.
So you should go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting.
How
Yeah.
far is Muir Woods from here? I don't even know where it is.
It's just north
Marin
of,
County.
yeah, it's in Marin
Hour and a
County.
half.
It's just north of San Francisco,
Oh, okay.
right, up in the hills, over South Toledo, and then you just go left.
Mhm.
Sounds like a field trip.
I have a question about
Yeah.
elves.
Yeah, it's
Elves.
actually a forest, a redwood forest.
Elf
It's
garden.
very,
Here?
No, I know.
An elf garden in my
Yeah,
house
so
for
within
many
your
years. No one's ever
woods,
damaged it
absolutely.
in 20 years probably.
Wow.
But now the rest of the neighborhood is any
No, that's
elf
a,
fairy villages. So what's the difference between
No.
elves and
Actually,
fairies?
it's
How do you,
the-
and also want to know.
Wait a second, we're losing.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody, please.
So I want to know the difference between elves and fairies. And our neighborhood now has a lot of
fairy villages, because I put one up many years ago. It's never been intentionally damaged either. 20 years I've had it, and it's never been damaged. So I'm wondering, how do you attract angels and elves into your garden, and what is the difference between an elf and a fairy?
So elves, they don't have wings as fairies, but they're very fun. So they like parties. And they have very good sense of humor.
They might play tricks on you.
Yeah, they might play tricks on you. They can. So all the elementals, they have ego. So not like unconditionally love everybody as angels. They actually really scan you. They figured out who you are. They want to know your name, because by your name they really can tell a lot who you are. And they may not share their name, at least not right away, because they don't want you to know about everything about them. So they sometimes, if they don't like anybody or somebody really not very respectful to nature and animals, they can play some tricks on people. And how you invite them into your garden? So they usually travel through these different worlds through circles. If you make some kind of ring from, just like I put here, like I use little buttons to make a ring as a portal for them, for example. And you can use anything. You can use some rocks, flowers to plant in a circle. So they come through martial circles. So create any circles. I like number 7 because 7 represents harmony. And you just invite them so they can actually have parties there. And you can put some sweet stuff. You bring some gifts for them. They like shiny objects. Put some shiny objects there. Sparkly. You put sparkly crystal, decorate your trees in the garden, so the fairies would come and take care of your garden. And you can create fairy gardens like that. Put like little figurines of gnomes and fairies and elves. Also, they like, of course, like birds and butterflies. So you put like birds' feeders out, really inviting animals and fairies into your garden to live there.
And crystals.
And crystals.
They're
Yes.
attracted to crystals.
They're attracted to crystal lights. When they're blinking lights, they really attract to that.
How about, are trees like portals for them as well? Trees like in your backyard and things like that?
I think they like nature, and if you just really invite them, they would come. But I guess the most portals, it's the circles. Like in the nature, you find mushroom circles. Mushrooms, some mushrooms, they just like grow in circles, and that's lots of cultures believe that fairies travel through those circles and to the forest. They like music also, so if you play some nice music in your garden, it also attracts fairies. And they like children, so when you have children playing somewhere outside, having fun, that really attracts this, because this energy of fun, it attracts fairies to be there.
That's not mine.
Fairies call.
This garden is so cool, isn't it? I'm picturing her green screen about that tall, saying some of the things she's saying, while a crane is coming like this, but live in that. That is alive.
It's amazing.
So and they have kings and queens, and there is a high king and queen that called Fivara and Una. So, and Una is this gorgeous, beautiful, blonde woman with long blonde hair, and so they live in Ireland, but you can still connect to them and ask them to come. So they're not really like angels. They cannot be in several places simultaneously, but if you call them, they still can travel and help you with things. And the story is actually that the human beings who were partially elementals on earth, they come from the high king because he liked earthy beautiful women, so he created lots of kids so lots of people have his genes who partially elementals. And Una, his wife, of course, she's. You can call her for any relationship questions, asking about any difficult, because she has lots of experience in that. So she helps with lots of relationship issues. And there is also fairy queens that also work with other different aspects of life. Like there is this. Queen of it's a flower fairy queen, and there is Damara. She's more for like family life and for children. She helps with that. There is a Cavintina that she's more with works with water and helps with water. So yeah, any questions? Yeah, because I can talk lots of things. Yeah.
I just have one. Where in Ireland?
Where in Ireland? I don't know. I know somewhere in Ireland they live.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
when I was a child, there was an intervention from a fairy, that actually might have saved our lives. Do they do that? Do you find that happens often? Or you heard of
Yes,
stories
I
like that?
heard the stories. Like Doreen Virtue has a book, 101 Fairies, and actually she got lots of stories from people who has personal communication and intervention from fairies. Yeah.
So they can protect you, or
Yes,
they try to protect
yeah.
people sometimes, right?
Yeah, sometimes the people connect to them because some of us have fairies as a guide, as our guides. So sometimes you can hear some kind of thoughts about doing something, and then it leads you to something else that you really need to do or need to know about.
Is there also a center for fairies in New Zealand?
I don't know
I've been
about that. Yeah,
told that, but
oh, okay.
In New Zealand?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, like Sherry first.
Has anyone here seen a movie came out about 5-6 years ago called Beast of the Southern Wild?
Say it
The
again.
what? Say again?
Beast of the Southern Wild.
No.
Okay, Beast of the Southern. So write that down. I watched a movie. It was very magical, and I told Olga the other day that she should watch and let me know what you think. But it's really magical movie. Took place on an island off the coast of Louisiana. Beast of the Southern Wild came out 2012.
Is it
Beast?
But I'm not sure. It has to Beast of the
Beast or
Southern
myth?
Wild.
Beast or myth?
Beast.
Beast of the Wild.
Yeah. I'm not sure it has anything to do with fairy or what, but it's very magical to me. So a lot of lights, not sparkling, but it's beautiful and great movie.
Sherry?
Yes.
Okay, Olga, I'm gonna get back to you, so I'm going to, have everybody understand if they wanted to have fairy readings, or what do you do as a consultant that you can do for people, and then what would you be doing at the fair also?
So yes, I have different decks with fairy decks. Like I have fairy tarot decks and mermaids and just oracle with fairies. So I'm gonna do readings at the fair here in September. Yeah, come to our booth and we'll do that. And also I do privately like guided meditation like we were doing today, and it can be for specific questions, specific area of life, and we just work with that. And I help like intuitively coaching you through situation, and also do this energetic alignments through those channeling and guided meditations. Also, I have my cards here. You can get some of my recorded guided meditation. It's about your attractive, peaceful confidence, how to have that in life. And also, if you want to be on my email list, I have also book
Thank you.
here to.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then last, I was having a little trouble on Facebook finding you, so could you, go to Infinite Community Infinite Spirit and friend us?
To do what there?
Can you go on your Facebook and go to Community of Infinite Spirit and say friend, look us up and then ask us to be your friend, because there's like 1,000 Ogas. with your last name, and I didn't see any of you, and so I
Okay.
wasn't able to find you, and since you
Okay.
were fair, I wanted to.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
All right, well, let's thank Olga for a wonderful presentation. And, I'm sorry, but